intro. See you guys soon.
It's showtime.
Okay guys, welcome back. You are watching the STPL. My name is Kix. I'm the host, caster, and organizer of the tournament, and joining me is my fellow co-caster. He's joined me a lot so far. He even joined me from my flat one day. It's Rapid.
That's right, I've been there. Mr. Lamb is there because of me.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering who that is, it's the lamb just above me. So he doesn't have any lungs though, so he can't talk.
That's true. We took those away from him to make haggis. So
really harsh.
Maybe we'll give them back to him if he regrows a pair. Let me know. I've got to come back and take those too. But now that I mentioned that, I actually miss haggis. That was by far the best part of my trip. Second best part, Kicks. Sorry.
Well, probably third best part, right? That would be a bit weird otherwise. But either way, it's good to have you back with me again. Of course, you've been here for quite a while now, and we're going to head on to our third game of our second set of today. Now, I'm sticking to my chair. It's so warm in the UK right now. No bully. Like, it's really, really warm here. But either way, let's head on over to the overlay and introduce our next two players. And I say that just as I click it. Here we go. Okay, so for red this time, they are on match point here against white. It's going to be Cryoc. Now, Cryoc is arguably, I think, the best Terran on red. I think he may be the only Terran. So that, like, I guess that could be Toolless Dwarf technically. But either way, he is a very strong Terran player. One of the better foreign Terran players at the moment. He went 2 for 2 last round. He went 2 for 0 this round, and he is currently 3 for 0 up against Zerg, weathering the storm. I mean, we've just seen how overpowered Zerg is, right, in those last 2 games. So, is Cryoc going to fall as well against the White Clan Zerg? The shoe is on the other foot, Rapid, as we have said a couple of times today. Ho did go 2 for 0 last round. He's currently 2 for 0 this round as well. And he is 1-0 up against Terran.
Yep. Obviously, we're memeing a little bit about the racial distribution and relative power. But yeah, this is another TVZ. So it's the day of TVZs, and we get a chance to see if it's still going to go the same way with Ho versus Cryoc.
And thank you, Creative, once again in the chat, being helpful as ever. I forgot Last is also a Terran player, and so is Red Blue Green. So there's so many players in the STPL. I think there's over, on the database, there's something like 200 and, let me double check. There's 237 players registered to play in the STPL. So there's a lot of names I have to remember. And you know what? We're going to see another 2 of them here, and they are going to be playing on Neo Electric Circuit. Now, Neo Electric Circuit, a little bit skewed towards Terran so far in the statistics, 5 for 2. Now, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything when we've like seen the meme race memeing it up today. Scumbag race, you might say. But still, gonna be cool. 4-player map, very much a 4-player Neo Medusa. Mineral only 3rd bases, pretty good for Zerg, allows them to get their 3rd hatchery there and get those extra minerals quicker. And we do, of course, have the 4 gas bases at 12, 6, 3, and 9. Now, a little bit harder for Zerg to take out of the main on this. There is a low ground natural along with the low ground main, so can't hold it with 2 lurkers indefinitely. You actually have to send quite a few units over there to hold it. But are we going to get to that point? Cryoc, a very strong Terran player. Ho, a very strong Zerg player. Are we going to head into week 4, round 2, week 4, day 3, Red versus Ho. It's Cryoc versus Ho. No, Red versus White. Cryoc versus Ho. Let's head on over to the game. And starting us off here in the bottom right-hand position is going to be the yellow Zerg fighting for white. He's going to have to win. He's going to have to win here if he does want his team to win this week. It's going to be Ho.
Yep, that's right. And looking to close it out for red on the other side in the teal or green. This is one of the best players on red. It's Cryoc.
Yeah, this is certainly going to be an interesting set in this series, I would say. We've had some good CVTs so far. I don't think we're going to see a lurker build coming out from Ho here, but we can't rule that out until that happens. But Korean Zerg's a lot more likely to go for those muta builds. Of course, there is possibly a little bit of lag which may come into it as well. Mutalist obviously a lot harder to control, but so are Bio, so it's not completely one-sided when it's laggy. I mean, their APMs look pretty good, so I think the latency isn't too bad in this game.
I would seem so. We haven't seen any crazy pauses or anything like that. I never like to account for latency because, you know, you never know. But yeah, it's another TVZ. Korean Zerg this time. Non-Korean Terran, but any game you watch Cryoc, like this guy's super solid. He's done very well for red so far. So let's just take a moment to sit back and relax and check out the builds. It's a 9 pool with an Overlord trick or extractor trick rather, versus what I'm guessing is just going to be a standard 1 Rax expand.
Yep, he's not walling off, so it's unlikely to be any form of tech. Now, Cryoc is known to sometimes go for a 1-1-1. 1-1-1 very strong on this map as well, but it does look like he is going to play a little bit more standard. He doesn't know what his opponent's doing. It's a 4-player map as well, but luckily enough for him, he is going to scout first. Now, unlike on Hitchhiker where you can get that really quick scout and go for a 14cc, Cryoc of course forced to build that barracks early on, and he is going to see the drone, so he does know where his opponent spawned at least, and that's going to help him a little bit. But is it going to help him defend against this 9 pool?
Yeah, 9 pool coming across. There is a drone coming out. Okay, so he's going to go for a hatchery as well. It's just going to straight up 9 pool that, but either way, the 6-lings are out and running across the map.
Yep, Cryoc has seen the 6-lings, so he does know the hatchery is on the way with the lings as well, but he's going to have to do something to try and defend against this. Now, one thing you do see a lot of Terran players do is actually just build a bunker in their main, go for like a 2nd Rax into an academy and go for like some all-in. It's certainly something I've seen Firebat Hero do. I've done it quite a bit on ladder myself. I actually won a game by 1-1-1ing off the back of this as well. But Cryoc, of course, up against a very strong opponent. A lot harder for him to do what a lot of people would do on ladder and things. And that's one of the things of playing in a tournament as well. Everything is on the line. Of course, for Cryoc, he could probably do like a crazy meme build right now and it wouldn't really matter. They are 2-0 up. But white are a clan you can't let your guard down against.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're absolutely one of the best clans in here, and Korean Zergling control, especially early on, can just be absolutely terrifying. Putting the Marines in the midst of the SCVs, of course, SCVs and Marines best friends early on, but the control on the Marines is actually not impeccable. He does lose one, and he's going to lose maybe a second one as it comes out of the barracks, trying to run it around. It does finally go down, but the lings have been cleaned up.
Yep, the lings have been cleaned up, as you just... I don't know why I'm saying that. Either way, 3rd hatchery on the way for Pose, so he's not going for an all-in or anything like that. And it looks like Cryoc is going to take his expansion command center now. Going to see him add probably his depot there and maybe go for a bunker as well. But he is going to add on his second barrack straight away, so this is going to be 2 racks Academy, not +1 5 racks or anything. He wants to make sure his Marine count obviously taken a little bit of hit early on, where he did lose those Marines to the Lings, so he's going to have to rebuild those pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, both players have extra bases to defend. The Zerg player, after going aggressive, has to either really commit or, rebound with the economy, and that's exactly what you see Ho doing on the other side. For the Terran players, just getting up this natural expansion, trying to secure that, and both players just kind of stabilizing from here on out.
Yep, now Cryoc is going to move in. My cat just scratched my leg jumping off onto my desk, so that was pretty painful. But here we go. Cryoc is in the main. He's going to see there's no third hatchery at the natural base, which is kind of interesting. Ho not opting to take that, taking his third hatchery in the middle of both of his other ones. But that does give him a little bit more room to build his tech, although they don't really need too much room when you're building just a spire. But should be kind of interesting to see where Ho is going to take this from here.
Yeah, always interesting. Of course, this is the biggest moment. We've already gotten a little bit of a hint as he did throw down that macro hatch in the main. This isn't going to be anything crazy like some of the 3-base builds that we see, or even something like 5 hatch. But this is still going to be I'm guessing it is going to be mutas, but
yeah,
obviously
we've got the
we've
second
actually
gas
seen
coming
mostly
in.
lurkers today. Yeah, second gas does mean
Evo chamber though, that's a very early evolution chamber.
Ooh, indeed it is.
Now, I mean, this could be in reaction to the fact he's not really scouted too much. He can't get an Overlord in there again, and there's no Lings have been able to get past. So maybe he's worried there could be like some kind of Wraith build coming his way. But if that was the case, we probably would see the Hydralisk Den as well, which we don't. So could just be for a very, very early +1 Carapace. Now, there is this weird +1 Carapace Ling all-in that I've seen, which is really, really strange. But it is going to be +1 Carapace, so there we go. Oh, and it is Spire, so it's definitely going to be muteless.
Yeah, definitely going to be mutas, but of course Stim +1 is on the way, and I mean, Bio, if controlled correctly, does do very well. I mean, obviously that is what we're looking for from Cryoc. Is that control good enough? And I mean, same thing from the Muta control on the other side. So, I don't know. I honestly, the biggest thing is in the execution here. This is not sort of an inevitability. Sometimes when you watch like TVP, it can kind of feel like when the Terran gets 3/3 mech, regardless of whatever happens, like they kind of just push across the map and kill stuff. So this is more of a, it's not how big your army is, it's how you use it.
Yep, that's a good phrase to live life by, but still, we've got a lot of medics already out for Cryoc. He did use both of his scans, so maybe not speaking to Cadency, because if Ho was going for Lurkers right now, he would be in big, big trouble. But he did manage to see the Spire. He knows it is going to be muteless. He's got a nice spread on his Medic Marine as well. And he's going to head on for a little bit of aggression. And now back at home, there is going to be 3 sunken colonies up. But this is a lot more medics than what would normally see. So this can actually break through. But the trouble is, there's a lot of Lings coming in from behind.
Wow, it's actually really remarkable how simultaneous this is happening. Unfortunately, bunkers are much better against Lings than this unfinished spine wall is going to be against this Bio. The medics are late though, so actually several of these Marines die prematurely. This really neuters this push, and so while the first 2 Sunkens are going to die, the ones popping in might actually be able to hold pretty well. Zergling's actually coming in from behind and picking off one, maybe, oh wow, the second Marine goes down too with that spine shot, so that was actually a super good defense on both sides.
Yeah, that was really, really well executed from both of them. Now, we do see Cryoc adding his missile turrets now. He did see the Spire with his scan. He's going to have to add a thing on his natural as well. But, of course, the Muteless will come in first to the main. That is the closest possible location. Cryoc, in a bit of a bind, though. He did lose a lot of Marines. Like, losing that first Bio Ball is one of the ways you can really actually just outright lose the TVZ. And I mean, this is good turret positioning by Cryoc, showing he's practiced the map, showing he's studied some VODs most likely as well. And Ho is just going to be moving around with his mutas, just trying to find any possible damage.
Yep, looking for it. I mean, the first group of mutas, first 9, are obviously the most potent because they come in when the Terran player has the least to defend against them, theoretically. But I mean, there are a lot of there is a lot of Wow, my words are not working very well. But here we go. We've got basically a full control group of mutas that should three-shot this turret grouping. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it did take 4, but they will be able to really remove a lot of the static defense in their way. Now, I mean, obviously they have to make it through the bio or around the bio, but still, they are working their way inside.
Yeah, it's like people may look at that and it's like, well, he traded a muta for 2 turrets, but it's more the not only psychological, but it's more later in the game that this becomes a problem. Cryoc now has to keep some bio back at home while he rebuilds those turrets. The mutas are going to be able to pull in, take out a few of the medics as well, which are very, very important in this bio ball. And it looks like Cryoc is going to try and go for a double scout now. He wants to make sure that his opponent hasn't got any extra bases. And interestingly, Ho hasn't gone for that. He's currently going on for a 2-base hive. He's got double evolution chamber now. He's got his +1 carapace, of course, going into +1 attack. And he's going to be very heavily upgraded against the Marines. The upgrades are going to be a little bit slower for them.
Yeah, they will be they will be held off rather, just a little bit. Actually, I'm curious how long Cryoc can hold these mutas off. He's doing a good job repositioning his bio and leaving enough back home to defend. And his turrets are actually maybe a little bit overmade, but hey, better safe than sorry, right?
Yep, better safe than sorry, and also he does have a lot of spare minerals. His money's quite high for this point in the game. A lot higher than you'd normally see. He is going to go up to his starports now, but he should start to look to add on his third command center and his extra barracks as well, if he does want to go for SK Terran, which is a pretty strong style on this map. But
yeah,
this...
I do actually see a remarkable number of Terrans going SK versus Zerg. I think it's kind of the go-to right now. I really do wish we saw more, I hate to say this when I'm casting a view, wish we saw more like fantasy-esque builds, mixing a Valkyrie or so, but I don't think the Zergs are going to really deviate too much right now. Good damage actually done with those mutas, but they are forced to get out as the bio stims in.
Yeah, and good usage of those turrets. They're not even one of the big problems you have as Terran sometimes is you like man your own gas with like a turret or something, but he's not done that here. Got good turret positioning. He's got pretty good building positioning in general, actually. He's going to start adding on his extra barracks now. Still no additional command center, but still no additional base coming in from Ho either. Now, back at home, Ho is going for an Ultralisk cavern, so this is why he went for those quick upgrades. It wasn't for his Lings. Of course, they are going to benefit from those as well, but with quick Ultralisks, he could be looking to finish off Cryoc very quickly here. And is it going to work?
I mean, that's the big question. It seems like the muta numbers are actually just maybe a little bit too high. There's actually nothing in the bunker, which would be maybe a good place to put some stuff. The Zerglings are running through, but they are actually getting kind of stopped in their tracks, but they are weakening the turret ring. The mutas are maybe a little bit low, and they certainly don't want to fight the bio heads up.
Yeah, they're going to pull away as soon as they can now. The funny thing is, in this game, usually you would see a Zerg with a third base long before now. Only now is he adding on that 3 o'clock base, so usually if the Terran would be a little bit further out on the map, that maybe could have done a lot more, but he was just back defending. There was no real reason for him to be out on the map at that point, and that's why he was able to defend so easily. Yeah,
that did certainly help him a whole lot. I mean, now he's actually going to try to go on the offensive, but this is a great opportunity for Ho to maybe catch him out of position. Instead, I actually think he's about to get flanked and lose the game.
Yeah, this could be it's still really good defense though by Cryoc. He took out all of the Lings, and the muta is going to be very heavily damaged from before anyway. There's only actually 4 mutas left, and this is going to be a big problem. He's trying to go into those Ultralisks. He needed those Ling numbers. He needed the mutalisks, and unfortunately, they're not going to be there. I think Cryoc may be able to break his way through here. Now, the Ultralisk cavern is done. He's getting that plating upgrade for them. He's got a lot of sunken colonies back here. He's going to add on a 4th hatchery as well. Well, I guess a 5th hatchery at that 4th base. And, I mean, he's going to do his best to hold on here, but he keeps going for counterattacks. But there's going to be mines here now. And he's certainly going to lose the 3rd base.
Yeah, no, there's no way this... Hold on. Yeah, this base is super dead, and at this point, like, he's trying to also get up, like, a 4th or maybe, I guess, a 2nd, 3rd. sounds kind of weird to say, but yeah, this phase is actually going to be maybe even harder to hold. So I don't know, my man. He's got like 10 Sunkens up, and he's going for Ultra Tech, but these are unup. Oh, actually, they do have the
Yep.
Ultra Carapace. So Chitinous is done, but Speed is not.
Yeah, he's not started speed yet. He's about to get 2-4 on those Ultra lists. Of course, Ultra is very, very strong into Bio, but you really do need those Lings in addition to really help punish those Bio Balls. But do we even have Cracklings on the way yet? I would hope that that's finished already. But the trouble is you can't really check that, but still, 1-2 upgrades against the 1-1 Marines is going to be really good for the Zerglings, actually. Going to make it a little bit harder for them to kill them. Cryoc checking the other bases to see there's no hidden bases, but not going to find one for now.
Nope, not going to find it. Actually hit tab and turn my screen black. But so I mean, for a while it's going to be even while these ultras come out and maybe even things up. But economically, certainly the Terran player is feeling pretty good as the third base comes up and it's in a safe location, so it shouldn't be too vulnerable.
Yeah, now the big problem Cryoc is going to start having is he's going to have a lot of mines out on the map. Ling's very good at clearing mines. Ultra's very good at eating mines, but of course they do take a lot of damage, so do need to be careful. Now you can see Hoa's doing a really good job sending single Lings just to try and bait any mines away from his main army. And he's actually going to show his Ultra list here against the Vultures, which is kind of surprising to me. But you can see that he's got a lot of Lings, a lot of Ultras in play now. And we should see a Defiler mount at some point coming in soon.
Yeah, I mean, Defiler, it would swing things back in his favor, but I mean, Defiler tech's expensive. Like, you gotta fuel that, not only with Lings, but for the Defilers to consume, but also to consume the Defilers to mount the tech. It's all a little bit rough, and you're also trying to fund Ultras at the same time, so he's just having his economy stretched really thin.
Yeah, now it looks like we're going to have another couple of scans coming down from Cryoc, just seeing if he can find the army. Doesn't quite get it. Will lose his 2 Marines in the top right, so that should allow Ho the ability to take that top right base if he chooses to. He's going back to the 3 o'clock base, interestingly enough. A little bit closer to the Terran player, but this is when the Terran really starts getting into gear. They've got a huge, huge bio ball, a lot of medics, a lot of Marines, and finally we do have vessels coming in. Now he's actually stimmed a lot of his units here, and that may work against him, but those front 2 Ultras actually taking down a lot of these Lings. And here we go, this could be the engagement that ends the game, as it looks like Cryoc wants to push in, wants to finish the game off. And here comes the units in defense.
Yeah, this is a big move by the Terran player. The Ultras coming through are actually doing a very
this is not good. The Irradiate on its own Ultra
are actually better than regular Ultras. Irradiate kills biological units. It turns out Bio is named that way because of it. So, I mean, even still, it probably would have been Zerg holding, but this is really cool to see such a significant ebb and flow. Both players really trading big blows back and forth.
Yeah, and that was a serious amount of damage that Cryoc just took. Ho gonna be in a better position now. He's gonna get his 3rd gas up. It's gonna be very, very difficult for Cryoc to really do anything about that for now. He's not actually started mining off his 3rd base yet. He's just transferring the SCVs now. And I mean, Cryoc isn't in the best position now. He's got a lot of barracks up. That's going to allow him to pump out all that bio that he just lost. He's going to add a 2nd starport on as well. But he needs to take a 3rd gas himself. He can't sit on 2 gas forever. And Ho is taking his 4th gas now.
Yeah, I mean, gas for Zerg is just like, you know, points in the wind bank. The more you have of it, the closer you are, or at least the more opportunity you do have. And certainly these gases are really going to help with that Defiler tech and continuing to pump these Ultras out. These are not fully upgraded. They still have 1 more armor upgrade that's not done. It's about halfway there. But certainly 5-3 Ultras are just really good. So granted, the vessel count is growing. It hasn't really been limited. Obviously, going for Ultras means your Scourge tech is going to be a little bit slower. So they should feel pretty good. He's going to have lots of great scouting information. But like, come on, I'm waiting to see the next step in the tech for the Terran. You don't really have enough pressure to go for the mech switch right now, but he's not pumping off of all of his barracks.
Yeah, and the actual worst thing in this game for him right now is his upgrades have actually stalled. He's not building out of his engineering bay, and if one thing kills you when you're going SK Terran, it's not keeping up with your upgrades. 3-3 is so unbelievably important. Now, he did get a nice Irradiate off on that top Ultralisk, but it does take more than one to kill an Ultra. He did actually group it up, so it did do a lot more damage than maybe it should have done. But without 3-3, he is going to have perfect medic walls to really do anything against these Ultras. Ultras, they may not look like, well, they are big units, but still, like, against mech, they're not very good. They die very, very quickly to tanks. But man, they rip apart Bio, and I've lost so many games by just not having my upgrades against Ultralisks. It's going to be a very, very difficult situation for Cryoc to win this game, I think.
Yeah, here we go. Both armies going to clash in the middle in an epic battle. Epic proportions of epicness. Ultras, like you said, are pretty good. Now, they actually do damage each other, so irradiating the back Ultra was pretty smart. Unfortunately, it's going to actually come around for a flank. There's a lot of bio, but eventually these Ultras will go down. The bio numbers survive, and that's a big win for Cryoc.
Yeah, the big thing that came into play there is Cryoc took an engagement in a perfect position using that L-shaped terrain in the middle of the map, forced the Ultras around like a corral almost before they could actually get up to like the all-important medics and take down the middle Marines. Now, great engagement by Cryoc, and that could have been the engagement that may have just won him the game. He is trying to get Nidus Canal up at this 4th base, but is it going to be finished in time? It looks like it's just going to finish before the bio gets there, but is he going to be able to get any units through before it dies? It doesn't look like it. And there it goes down, and here we go, the units coming in from Ho in the back, trying to do what they can, but Cryoc just has great engagements with the SK Terran here.
Yeah, SK really kicking in. Yeah, ironic using SK against a South Korean to kill it. But of course, it stands for SK Telecom. Either way, this is going to be very effective. These are very strong Marines. They are fully upgraded, and they're just in such high numbers. The supply count's insane.
SK, I believe, actually stands for Solkey, who was a Terran player who created the build, I think. I think it's that.
Well, it is kind of a meme, but this is not the Zerg Solkey, by the way.
No, it's a different one.
Neo G Solkey.
Yeah. He was a very good Terran player back in the day, did create this style, did popularize it, and much like a lot of the other players, he actually lost his dynasty almost. He never really, no one really talks about him too much, but his style's still in use today, and this is great usage of those medics blocking for the Marines here, and that's going to allow Cryoc the ability to take down this 3rd base of Ho, and without the 3rd and 4th gas, the Ultras production is going to stop. And that was a risky D-Matrix. That was so close to the Ultralisk.
Yeah, I always love the D-Matrix. I think it's not on the Marine with the D-Matrix actually watching Marines without D-Matrix die, so that's a little bit sadistic. But in the end, all the Ultras die enough that matters.
Yeah, and that D-Matrix Marine's going to go down to Cracklings. Now, it looks like he could possibly hold on to his 3rd base here. He's going to try and get a Sunken up, and more Lings coming in from the back, but more Bio coming in for Cryoc now. Looks like the upgrades have finally kicked in. 3-2 against those. There's no free attack done by Ho for some reason. And here we go. Looks like Ho is going to try and clean this up with his final units, but that medic wall just too strong. And this could be game.
Yeah, I think it will be game kicks. It was close there for a while. A big comeback by Ho. But I think in the end, Cryoc is going to take the game. Obviously, it's going to be a very long journey until then, but I do think it is certainly looking very strong that he takes out this 3 o'clock base.
Yeah, not only that, if Cryoc does take this game, he is going to take the series for Red, which is insane. A lot of people thought White would never lose. But they lost in round 1. They're going to lose again here, it looks like. And I mean, Ho is doing his best to hold on, but he's barely mining. His main is about to mine out. His natural has very little. His gas is going to be depleted soon as well. And I mean, you can do what you want, but Cryoc is in a great position. He's going to take his 4th base over here, and this is going to be so difficult for Cryoc. Like, I usually hate calling games early, but like, it's going to be almost harder for Cryoc to throw the game than it is to win the game at this point. He is so far ahead.
I'm waiting. I'm watching. I think the wait a second. If I'm okay, so I think I got it wrong. Neo G Sulky is the Zerg player. Sulky, just regular Sulky, is the other Sulky. So,
Ah.
sorry for the minor confusion. I always get those guys mixed up. So my bad on that one. Just wanted to clarify that. I think I was trolling maybe a little bit too hard and didn't correct myself in time. Whatever. Trolling too hard on STPL. What's happening, Kicks? The quality of the show has really gone downhill.
Yeah, now we do have Cryoc mined out of 2 of his bases, so he is going to be down to just the 2 bases now, which eventually is going to have a big impact. But here we go, the Vessel's actually getting caught out by the Scourge. Great cloning by Ho. They're going to take down 3 of 4 Vessels. And even though Ho is so far behind, he's making the moves that he needs to try and come back in this game. You can see consumers being researched for the Defilers. Now, Defilers very, very strong against SK Terror, not only for the Dark Swarm, but also for the Plague.
You got it, Kicks. That was the moment.
It was.
That was your casting Ihan timing.
But you know what, I mean, it doesn't really count because there was no plague on the units, so that was just me showboating. But either way, looks like Cryoc isn't going to allow that to kick in. He's moving in with all of his units up to this top right base. We see a lot of scans going down, just checking where the units are. And I mean, we do have at least one... No, we don't even have a Dark Swarm on this Defiler, and the Defiler's going to get irradiated, but the Vessel does go down, so an even trade there. But Cryoc is still just piling on the units, just making it very, very difficult for Ho.
Yeah, really just not letting up the pressure. The idea that Ho has been able to like expand so much is great, but he's not mining at any of his expansions. His top expansion, for example, has 2 drones mining and no gas mining. So same thing for the next 2 bases below it, just nothing mining. So it might look like he's getting out there and expanding, but realistically, none of this is actually helping him out.
Yeah, he is going to get the Snidus Canal up. This is going to allow him to get some units back in to defend, but he doesn't actually have any units. Like, he's got Lings and Defilers. He does get a Swarm down, and as you know, Rapid Swarm, very good against Bio, as you can see.
Yeah, you know, he does make that look very, very strong. The ability of one unit to both kill something and then not take damage in return feels pretty good, man. But ultimately, I mean, the bio is still alive, right? And the Swarm can't last forever, even though it seems like it does sometimes. And there's no Swarm protecting the Nidus, so when that goes down, you know, obviously everything else is going to go down eventually, too.
Yeah, and of course Swarm doesn't protect buildings. Just in case you're watching, you didn't know, I found out that the nice way, when I first played for the longest time, I thought it did. So I was like, well, there's buildings under the Swarm, I can't damage them, so how am I going to kill his Nidus? But then I found out you could, and it was a good day. But still, Cryoc is going to take out that 3rd base again. Ho trying to build another Nidus down here, back at the 3 o'clock base again. Now the issue is he was mining from there before. But Ho is going for the counter-attack here. There's actually 2, I believe there were factories trying to come in. But there is a lot of bio back here to defend as well, and I think this is the last hurrah by Ho, as he does try and hold on. A nice mine going off on top of those Lings, and he's going to clear those up once again.
Yeah, well, this game is like remarkably back and forth. It is actually really rare that you see this. Like you don't get it twisted. Like Cryoc is still in a really good spot, and will probably continue to be. But for the Zerg player to like tenaciously hold on here, like this is really, really solid. This
is when the I know people complain about the fantasy GG, but this is when it makes sense. When you feel like you can come back in. Another Irradiate goes down on yet another Defiler though. And, I mean, the Zerg really, really is on borrowed time. I usually don't like calling it too early, and he's doing a brilliant job holding on here. I mean, he's got the Swarms back up again. Ultralisk didn't work out early on, though, and that's why he's so far behind. And, I mean, he's still trying to do everything he can. He's getting nice trades. Another Ultra does pop out, just for good measure. A Swarm going down on that. That Ultra is not going to be going anywhere for a very long time. And with... I don't know what to say, with triple Swarm, with quadruple Swarm, with quintuple Swarms, Ho is clearing this bio. I don't know, that's a lot of Swarms though.
How many swarms to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I don't know. More than that for sure. Like what is happening right now? What am I witnessing? Like, wow, this is he gonna actually kill these science vessels? Are you
He
kidding
gets
me?
2 of them, yeah, great job by Ho. I mean, Ho is down over 100 supply, over 130 supply now. And he's still holding, man. He is holding his bases. Like, if you want to see why you're playing low-level Terran, I know Cryoc's not a low-level Terran, but this is why this is why playing SK Terran is frustrating to me. Like, you just can't kill Zerg, but that's just a testament to how good Ho is, because Cryoc is a very, very good Terran player, and Ho is making this, like, very hard for Cryoc to win. Oh, but here's the Fire Bats, and Fire Bats, unlike Marines, do
Yeah.
damage under Swarm. And this is going to be a hard task to hold on from here.
Yeah, these are 3/3 fire bats with stim. Like they will just kill Infinity Zerglings. Like you, oh, Plague coming out. Oh, he's gonna consume for it. Oh, I thought he was fishing for it. Plague on all those that bio would really reset things.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy that we're even saying that at this point in the game. Now, Cryoc is actually expanding to the 1230 position here. And you know what? This is quite clever. He's going to give himself a foothold. And he's going to block a base of the Zerg. So, I mean, once again, Ho is trying to expand. So we could still go on for a little bit longer in this game.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I mean, the Terran's maxed out, right? And he's against a 77 supply Zerg. So
Yeah.
not to be anticlimactic, but that's just a lot of bio. It was all waiting back at home, but now it is going to spring across the map, and this should be the true test of whether or not Ho can hold on.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a fully maxed 3/3 Terran army. He doesn't have many vessels, though, and realistically, when you're going SK Terran, even though there is a lot of bio on the map, the real strength is in those vessels. I mean, he does have 3, but they're... Oh, okay, I completely missed those. They do... Oh, that eraser trick doing so much damage. That's all of Ho's drones.
Yeah, that's
That's a big deal. He lost his defilers as well. And all of these firebats are going to make absolute mincemeat of these Zerglings. And this is bound to be it now, Rapid. Plague!
there it is. Okay, you got your moment.
I did.
You go.
But sadly, the Plague isn't going to be enough. I mean, he's trying to hold on, but these Lings are popping out the Nidus and dying immediately. It's a Zerg barbecue. And this third base is going to go down yet again. And with that, it's going to be GG.
Yeah, GG. Wow, one of our best games by far. But the more significant result is that red 3-0s white. Oh my goodness.
I know, like, who would have thought that as we went into this? But Cadenti, technically, I guess you could call her a Korean pro now, so they've got their own Korean mercenary, as Naz would say it. But still, great showings by Cryoc and Ku as well. Gonna take them to 3-0 in the series. Now, I believe Game 4 was played as well, so we've still got one more game to cast. But as you can see, my cat is taking up half the camera now as well, so she's joining the cast.
That's quite the struggle you got going on there, Kix.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see my screen.
Yeah. The analogy is if you've ever seen that it's not a Netflix series. I think I forget what network it's on, but The Last Kingdom about the illustrious forming of Great Britain. Um, there's a character, the main character named Uhtred, that is born, as part of the last remnants of the British Empire before it is overtaken by the Danes. But then he is raised by the Danes and trained to be a fearsome warrior. This is actually what is happening to Cadenzi. She is, though born a Scot, who is actually the ancestors of the Danes, the Vikings that invaded. Not really, but she's being trained and raised to be a fearsome player out here by the Koreans who have been raiding the English countrysides for years
Yeah.
in Brood War.
They have definitely been doing that. I've lost so many games to Koreans, but I'm starting to win more. I'm getting matched with more Koreans as well, so it's nice being able to go into a game, say ZZU and then suddenly get loads of Korean spammed at me because they just assume I'm Korean because of that. And also the white clan tag, so that gives that away as well. But either way, let's head on over to the intro for the final time this evening as we load up the next replay. And let's get started with our fourth and final game of today.